Welcome to Jackson Reviews, the channel where I go for the best and worst horror movies so you don't have to. I'm Sam Jackson and today we're going to be looking through Hatchet 2, which was released in 2010. Once again we're greeted by so many horror icons and just awesome people who just come from the genre. Just a culmination of all of them for a second time is even as cool as the first. We have Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, John Beaker and Mercedes McNabb coming back for this one, even if one of them's in a cameo role. We've got even more awesome horror stars such as Halloween's veteran actress and one of my favourite scream queens ever with Danielle Harris. She replaces Tamara Friedman as Mary Beth, but honestly, I think she's a hell of a lot better than the original actress, and I'm sorry if she somehow watches this. We have Psycho 2 and Child's Play creator Tom Holland, a former Leatherface actor. The film is just as bloody as violent as the first, just with a lot less intrigue in it. It's got a bit too much forced story for a kind of slasher which doesn't need that much. Or even if they just padded it out a bit more, because it's all condensed really aggressively and it's not very clear first time. I had to watch it a couple of times to get it. But even so, it's still an alright movie. And I'll show you why. The movie begins right after the last one left off, with Mary Beth, now played by Danielle Harris, escaping from Victor Crowley. She ends up being saved by John Beaker's weird character from the first one, and she reveals her name, causing him to freak the fuck out. He tells her to go to Reverend Zombie, aka the Candyman. We get some cameos, and because it's a simple slasher film, Beaker is killed in a pretty great and funny way. We get our usual Adam Green cameo, and Mary Beth goes to see Reverend Zombie. It's explained that Sean worked for him and he has a brother Justin, also played by Parry Shan. We get more backstory into Victor Crowley, revealing that Mary Beth's father was one of the three twats who caused a fire that killed him, and that Thomas Crowley was cheating on his wife, causing her to place a curse on their child. She then dies, and then Victor's real mother dies straight after seeing him. Crowley's dad went a little bit crazy after Victor's death, and eventually died of a broken heart. But, to cheer everyone up, let's see a gore montage! Mary Beth decides to go back into the swamp because fuck it, we need a sequel, with Reverend Zombie telling her to bring her uncle, who's played by Tom Holland. Zombie calls a meeting claiming it to be to retrieve his lost boat, but he's sussed out by the group when he mentions Victor Crowley, leaving us with a bunch of generic victims and a former Leatherface actor. With the group heading out into the swamp, they will definitely all die. We get some more Hatchet humour on the journey and they find the boat quite quickly. The zombie promised them a bonus if they found and killed Victor Crowley, so the film continues. Honestly, not much happens for a while. It's kinda dull. The only worthwhile thing is that Zombie explains Tom Holland and Leatherface were the other two kids who killed Victor, and if they die, maybe Victor will leave and let Zombie do his tours legally again? Also, Mary Beth doesn't find her family's bodies for some reason, which is never really explained. We get tons of great slasher kills though a little bit later on. One guy is smashed in by the head by his hatchet, one guy gets a propeller to the face, two characters get cut up whilst fucking, and the final two red shirts get sliced open by a huge fucking chainsaw. The main group hears this and they take refuge in the cabin. Justin and Mary Beth have quite a good emotional conversation, with Mary Beth telling Justin his brother's dead, and Justin telling Mary Beth about Reverend Zombie's plan to sacrifice her uncle. Justin gets a very well-made intense horror sequence where Victor brings back his belt sander just to see how well Justin's brain is doing. Needs more saw. Mary Beth tries to warn her uncle about his plan, but it's a bit too late. The group try to stop Victor, but with no use. Mary Beth and her uncle get wounded, and Leatherface goes hand to hand with Victor, putting up a pretty decent fight. Zombie pulls Mary Beth away from the house, leaving her uncle to die, and eventually Victor kills Leatherface with a badass table stomp, proving once and for all that Jason Voorhees always beats his foes. Victor emerges from his win and tears apart Mary Beth's uncle, causing a premature celebration from Reverend Zombie, who isn't too pleased when Mary Beth threatens to go to the police. It's also followed by her revealing that Uncle Bob isn't her uncle, it's just a friend's dad, and not the man who helped kill Crowley. He died when she was young. Victor then appears again, and Zombie tries to take him down, but is first ripped in two and then skinned alive, making for a pretty funny part where Victor just throws what's left of his body away. Mary Beth is once again the final character, and she tries to take him down. She puts up a really badass fight, cutting his head to pieces, walking away, but because it's a slasher, Victor's hand moves, yet by this point Mary Beth really does not give a shit about any more sequels, and grabs a shotgun, blasting his head into pieces just as the credits roll. Lots more humour in this one, and a lot more gore, but too much storyline, which is something I never thought I'd say for a slasher film. It just kind of takes away a lot of the kind of classic stuff. There's way too much backstory, there's way too much explaining of all the events, and just, it takes a lot of the fun away when pretty much the entire fun of this series is the gore, violence, and just seeing these characters get torn apart with some pretty funny dialogue. Even so, it's a really fun film. I don't think any of the films in this series are actually bad, which makes it different from a lot of the other ones I've covered, and I like that. The production side is a lot further up in quality than the first, and you could tell they actually got a bit more of a budget this time, even if once again some of the shots are a little bit amateurish. I think that might just be some of the shots that Adam Green doesn't care about, because most of them are cutaways anyway, or for his cameos. Danielle Harris is the best thing about this film, and the third one. She's just so cool. She plays Mary Beth so well, and quite different to how the original actress did. Like, she's just a tough as nails bitch who don't give a fuck, whilst the girl who played her in the original kept screaming and crying a lot, which wasn't that fun. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, I get why some people are, with a lot of the backstory towards Victor Crowley and Thomas Crowley, as well as the connection to Mary Beth's family and all that stuff. I think it's a little bit cheesy and unnecessary, but I can get why a lot of people like it. I think it should also be mentioned that the acting in this one is actually good, whilst in the original it was kind of crap and cheesy, like to take the piss out of the fact a lot of the films were crap and cheesy, but in this one it's really good, and Parry Shen really steps it up in this one compared to the original, and he's even better in the third and fourth installments. I'm looking forward to his performance if we make a fifth one, because he's good. He gets better every single film. The main important thing is, did I actually enjoy the film? Yes. I don't particularly think that it's a bad film like a lot of other people do, but I think that there were so many other things they could have done with this film, but they just basically rehashed the first one a little bit with more backstory and went back into the swamp with Mary Beth, which is the same dumb thing The Descent 2 did, which is even though I like The Descent 2, it's a pet hate of mine. I will review them one day, I promise. But it just didn't feel as smooth as the original, which I think is a shame, and I'm kind of glad that Adam Green stepped away from director duty for the third one, because 3's awesome as hell. It's so good. Now, continuing on from my last video, I'm going to do my 5 best kills in this film, and this one is a little bit more experimental ones to choose from. At number 5, I'm going to choose John Beekler's death, because every time I see it, it gets a laugh out of me. I mean, he literally gets his head pulled off with his intestines. What other franchise could do that without it being stupid? And number 4 is the guy who gets his face bashed in with a hatchet. I mean, it's just something I didn't expect to see. So like getting punched in the face, basically, by a hatchet until there's nothing left. I mean, it's a horrible way to die, but I found it really both humorous and dark at the same time, which is why I put it on the list. Up third is the 2 characters who get killed when fucking. Once again, I'm just combining 2 together because holy shit. I mean, it's just her thinking, like, just because he's spasming, like, bitch, you done already? And just a lot of the humour towards that I found really funny. I didn't particularly like either of those characters because they didn't do anything, but the kills are great, and her getting stabbed, like, in the breast area and looking like she's just orgasmed. Inappropriate as fuck. But you got a chuckle out of me. I'll give them that. And number 2 is once again another 2 people at once, and that's just gotta be the fucking double chainsaw. Why the fuck was like a 12-foot long chainsaw in the woods? Because it's a fucking Hatchet movie, why not? And number 1 has probably got to once again be split in 2, just for Crowley's entire massacre of everyone at the cabin, basically. I know I've pretty much listed every single kill here, but I'll explain what I mean. All 3 of these kills were done pretty much at the same time. You first had Leatherface getting a fucking, like, curb stomped across the table. You had all the gore and violence from Mary Beth's uncle. Then you literally had, like, Tony Todd getting his skin ripped off him after he was cut in 2. They're all cool. Even the Gorewood, which is just tons of blood. That is so much fucking blood, but it's not enough in a man's body for that, and that's why I like it. So thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, please be sure to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you next time for Hatchet 3. Goodbye! Hi, sorry, quick apology for the fact this has taken me so long to edit when I promised it would come out like a week after the first one. As you can see, I have moved, so therefore it took me a while to sort that shit out. But after I finish Hatchet, start using this as my background and shit, because look at all my films, I'm quite proud of them. I have more, they'll be very partially added. I don't know, like, how this? It's a sequel to Suspiria I didn't even know about, and I love Suspiria, so therefore, poster. Done. But anyway, yeah, enjoy Hatchet 2, sorry it's taken so long, And I'll see you with this setup for whatever the fuck I do after Hatchet.